travel organizers emerged. The first and most famous of this was Thomas Cook. His first excursion train trip was between Leicester and Loughborough in 1841 with 570 passengers at a round-trip fare of 1 shilling. The success of this venture encouraged him to arrange similar excursions using chartered trains. In 1866, he organized his first American tour. In 1874, he introduced circular notes, which were accepted by banks, hotels, shops, and restaurants. These were in effect the first traveler's check. Other tour companies, which appeared in Britain at this time, were Dean and Dawson in 1871. The Polytechnic Touring Association in 1872 and Frames in 1881. In the United States, American Express was founded by Henry Wills and William Fargo. So as the 19th century drew to a close, photography and guidebooks become popular. As a huge variety of guidebooks which dealt with both local and overseas travel were sold to tourists. The most popular of this was Baedeker, first published in 1839, which became the leading guide for European countries at the end of the century. Tourism in the 20th century. At the beginning of the 20th century, pleasure travel continued to expand, encouraged by increasing wealth, curiosity, and outgoing attitudes of the people, as well as the increasing ease of such movement. World War I brought about many changes, which influenced the volume of tourism. Early post-war prosperity, coupled with large-scale migration, boosted the demand for international travel. Interest in foreign travel was further enhanced by the first-hand experience of foreign countries. New forms of mass communication stimulated curiosity about other countries. In addition to the influence of posters and the press, the cinema, radio, and television widened knowledge and interest in travel. After World War I, forms of travel began to change radically. The railways as a means of travel declined with the introduction of the motor car. Motorized public road transport and improved road conditions lead to the popularity of seaside tours. World War II also led to increased interest in travel. The war had introduced combats not only to new countries, but also to new continents, generating new friendship and an interest in different cultures. Another outcome of war was progress in aircraft technology. Air travel had become more comfortable, safer, faster, and cheaper in comparison with other forms of transport. With the introduction of the Boeing 707 jets in 1958, the age of air travel for the masses arrived, hastening and decline of the sea travel. Improvements in air and transport not only encourage greater transcontinental travel, but were also instrumental in the growth of international travel in the 1960s and 1970s. After the post-war recovery years, there was an increase in private car ownership. Travelers switched to the use of private cars, and this change affected both coach and rail services. The private car provided flexible transportation, which freed people from the schedules and fixed routes of public transport. Resourceful tour operators devised flexible package aimed at the private motorists at home and abroad. Hotels also devise their own programs of short-stay holidays for the private motorists. The demand for hired cars on holidays overseas also increased substantially. The post-war economic recovery provided an increase in this discretionary income and leisure time, which many people converted into increased recreational and travel. Due to labor negotiations and social legislation, the length of official and paid holidays increased. Governments have created more vacation time by incorporating isolated public holidays into the familiar long weekends throughout the year. By the 1970s, two vacations a year were a common occurrence. The annual overseas holiday had become a necessity rather than a luxury. As a business and trade prospered in the development countries, business travel also flourished, leading to the demand not only for individual travel, but also for the conference and the incentive travel on a worldwide scale. The 1970s have also seen the emergence of new patterns in tourism. As the economic power has shifted between countries, new tourism generating countries such as the oil-rich Arab countries and Japan, Europe as well as the developing tourist-based economic of Asia have benefited from the influx. The Philippines, Thailand, Singapore, Malaysia, and Indonesia have strengthened their tourist attraction to appeal to new markets. Prospects for the continued growth of the world tourism in the 20th century appear to be the most promising. Societal trends are favorable to the continued growth of demand. Governments of many nations are encouraging the growth of both domestic and international tourism as a means of job creation, economic diversification, and source of foreign exchange. Beyond its economic significance, there is a growing realization of the role of international travel in promoting world peace and prosperity.